Hey everybody, this is the show we call Box Seats, where we talk about sports with comedians, and we talk about all sports. And if we can get into it, we talk even a little bit more about a couple other things. So let's jump right into it. My man, talent's not on just yet, so let's jump to Fig. Fig, what's happening, Captain? What's popping? How you doing, sir?
Hey man, it's a good day, man. I'm so happy. I don't know what to do, boy. The Knicks is doing it again.
Okay, the Knicks. Okay, the Knicks, the
Yes,
Knicks.
sir.
So Fig, we got a lot of stuff to cover today as we wait for the guys to come in. I want to talk to you first about what's going on in New York because I heard this morning that Major League Baseball is investigating if the Yankees and Mets are illegally communicated about Aaron Judge and violated the collective bargaining agreement. It seems that on April 8th, the day Judge rejected the Yankees' final offer, sources said that they did not plan to fight the Yankees of this offseason for Judge. Seems like that Major League Baseball got really concerned because it seemed like that they were saying, okay, why isn't the Mets deciding to try to get in contact with them? And now the collective bargaining agreement, people, Major League Baseball collective bargaining agreement is involved. So I never heard of anything like this before. I was like, what in the hell's going on? And I don't know if this is a ploy to derail Judge to get to New York, as in the Yankees, you know what I mean? Or even the Yankees and the Mets. I don't know what's going on. But when you hear something like this, bro, what is your thought process about Major League Baseball investigating because the Mets did not jump in the Aaron Judge sweepstakes?
I don't know, man. It sounds fishy at best. You know what I mean? Like because we thought that that was one of the teams that had enough money to go after Aaron Judge, and why did they decide not to go after him? Because clearly they're rivals of the Yankees. It's not the same team, although they're in the same city. Same city. Freudian slip. Even though they're in the same city, they're not the same team. You know what I mean? It's not the same team. So I don't understand. Uh, we thought that that would be where if the Yankees didn't pay him, a lot of New Yorkers thought that the Mets would, you know, put on
Yeah.
the full court press and try and get a player of Aaron Judge skill. Um, we know. I think you said the Houston Astros. I don't know, man. Maybe they just aren't interested in being in a bidding war.
Mhm.
Um, the Yankees do have a lot of money, but maybe they just don't want to spend it all on one player. And I guess they figure the Mets is like, look, our pockets ain't that deep. That's the only thing that I could think of that possibly makes sense.
Well,
Why they wouldn't
the thing
bid.
that's crazy to me, Bill Fig, is that this came out on the day that everybody's trying to decide that who's going to be the MVP. You know what I mean, in the American League between Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani and everything else. I'm sitting there saying, why would this news come out today of all days? You know, like it couldn't came out tomorrow, couldn't have came out yesterday. Today is the day when voting decided. And I was shocked at that. So I'm still a little suspect of that. All right, let's keep it moving as we wait for the guys to join in on the show. The show's called Box Seats. It's the show where we talk about sports with comedians. The rest of the comics come in and join us and everything else. So, Fig, I'm going to ask you, man. Green Bay is facing Tennessee Titans tonight. Green Bay is facing, to me, I watched the sports all morning this morning since 7 o'clock this morning. A lot of guys are talking about this is a do or die game for Green Bay, and Green Bay must win to get to the playoffs. I think even if they win tonight, they still ain't making the playoffs. I mean, that's the way I look at it. What's your take on Green Bay making the playoffs? Do you think if it's a must-win game for them, you know what I mean, to make the playoffs?
I mean, it's a must-win game in order for them to stay respectable, to even be considered to be in a playoff conversation because they haven't done very well. It seems that they were lucky to get out of their last game to win their last game. And it's just been a mess over in Green Bay, man. Green Bay is just horrible right now, and it seems like it's a mess for them to even do some of the things that they were doing, like some of the games that they won. It wasn't like convincing wins or anything like that. So I don't know what the deal is with Green Bay, but I'll tell you this: their schedule is unforgiving
Mm-hmm.
because even if they get past the Titans, it's like they have to go through a gauntlet, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure that either. Well, let me add my man Talent to the mix. T, what's up, T? How you doing, sir? You're on mute, T.
Sorry, I'm late. What's up, fellas?
How you doing, sir?
What the deal, son?
What up, player?
That morning show's kicking you behind, huh, T?
Nah, I was in here. I lost track of time doing stuff around the house, man.
I tell you what happened to Talent. He went to get the dog shots, and the veterinarian accidentally gave him one too.
You know, you need to grow up, Pig. I'm gonna switch phones. Come right in.
All right, so T, let me ask you this, bro. Green Bay's facing the Titans tonight or anything else. Is this a must-win for them to make the playoffs? Do you think, bro? What's your take?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. If they don't put together that run right now, Frank, it's a wrap fizzle, brother. They got to put together that run right now. Like, well, not right now, but right now. This is it. We're too far going in the season. And somebody said something that was very coincidentally funny too, because that win over Dallas. If they put together that string of runs and it come down to it, because it's right now it's looking like it's going to be 3 spots, you know, for that 2 spots out of the 3 teams for that the final spot. And if it come down to them in Dallas, guess what? Because they beat them, they'll edge them out.
Yeah, that's crazy. And here's for all you bettors out there: Tennessee is ruling out multiple starters. They got their cornerback out, Ben Jones, their safety out, Amani Hooker, their kicker, Randy Bullock, and their offensive lineman, Bud Dupree, and the backup, the safety, Lonnie Johnson, are all out. So Green Bay, not necessarily those are, you know, pertinent players, but they still got a better chance than you would expect for them to win this game tonight. Like, they really got something there with that. Let me ask you this, Fig. There's rumors now floating around coming out of Raidersville, because we talked about Raiders for a couple of days. We were talking about everything else. But it turns out that the Raiders are not cash flush. They can't fire Josh McDaniels even if they want to because of the contract. Get this. Because of the contract they signed with John Gruden, and because of the contract, John Gruden's contract is 10 years worth $100 million. They're still on the hook to pay him another $40 million is guaranteed. Then they also guaranteed for another 2-3 years with Josh McDaniels. They are not cash flush to fire him because they can't fire him. So people up there upset say, hey, how come you guys ain't firing? You know, if they want to, they can't afford to. So if the rumors of this happening are true, what's your thoughts on hearing about this serious situation going on in the Raidersville?
We should all be so lucky as employees. where the boss can't afford to fire you because of your contract. I bet Kyrie wished the Nets couldn't afford to fire him. I bet you that. You know, listen, they in Vegas, Frank. Stranger things have happened, baby. Go to them tables and get that money.
Right.
Let me tell you a story, man, and let you go. There's a story about Federal Express. I don't know if he still owns the company. The owner of Federal Express was Fred Smith. And when the company was a startup, he was at his money was low. He wasn't able to make the payroll. He was not going to make it. And he said, look, I'm going to lose this company. We're not going to be able to do it. So he went to Vegas and put his money down and bet and won enough money to make the payroll. And the rest of the story about Federal Express is history. And this is a Fred Smith story. So look, they already there. You in Vegas. All you got to do is go downstairs.
I didn't even hear that. I never heard that before. Day in my life.
That's true. True story.
Okay. T, what's your take on the Raiders being so cash poor they can't fire Josh McDaniels? And how do you think that would affect, you know, their team, their base, their fan base, everything? How do you think that's going to affect them? What do you think their thoughts are?
Well, I'm with Fig. Get your money up. You're right there where they print it. Hey, what if you played for the Raiders and got paid in chips?
Oh, you'd be upset.
But no, all jokes aside, man, you got to figure that. You're a new team, new city. So you got to be cash strapped at the beginning of it anyway, because between moving everything over there, new stadium stuff, you got a lot of obligations. So, I mean, but are we talking too soon of firing for them? You know, you like I said, speaking of new city, you just got there. I think because they expected to win and the season didn't turn out nowhere near close to what they expected, I think they, they feel in some sort of way to even be thinking about firing people this early. But to be honest with you, Frank, it's too early to be firing.
Yeah, it might be, but I think they need to do something because they're going down. They're burning really, really badly, really quickly. Let me talk to you guys about Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. I saw something this morning. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna ask the fellas this question. I heard the question: is it who's the biggest weakness from the Dallas Cowboys? Is it Dak Prescott or the Cowboys defense? Because the Cowboys defense supposedly can't stop the run at all. Definitely not Michael Parsons' problem for Michael Parsons because he's doing all he can do. But let me ask the guys. I heard this question this morning on First Take. It's a good question. Let me ask it. So, do you think the weakest link on the Cowboys Fig is Dak Prescott, or do you think the weakest link on the Cowboys is the Cowboys defense? Because when Dak Prescott is not even playing as good as the backup came in and he played. You know what I mean? So, what's your thoughts, Fig?
I think the teams that they're playing is different. And I also think that Mike McCarthy calls different plays for Dak than he did. Is it Cooper Rush?
Yeah.
I think he calls different plays for Dak than he calls for Cooper Rush. I think he, when you have Dak in there and you have you're paying him this amount of money, like over $40 million a year, you want to air it out. You want to throw a lot of passes. When Cooper was playing, they did a lot of running. Their running game is stellar. You know what I mean? They still have a dope running game, and I think they're not balanced. And I would really blame it on the play calling. You know what I mean? I got to blame this on McCarthy because it's not like Dak can't pass the ball the same way that Cooper Rush can. I think the play calling is totally different. I think they need to lean heavily on their running game and their defense, which is stellar, and then let Dak manage the game and pick his spots where he's going to throw the ball. So what? You paying him $40 million? You want to win the game, or you want Dak to just air it out all the time? It's the same thing they did in Seattle with my man Russell Wilson. You know what I mean? They wanted him to air it out all the time when they had a running game and they had a strong defense. Had they not put the ball in the hands of Russell Wilson, they may have won that Super Bowl if they put it in let beast mode run it in from the 1 yard line. So I mean, I again, long story short, I put it on the coach, Mike McCarthy.
All right, so T, you're a betting man. The Dallas Cowboys are facing the Minnesota Vikings this Sunday, right? Everybody's looking at this game and saying Minnesota is already 8-1, and they sitting there saying, Minnesota's doing their thing, but everybody's complaining about that. Dak Prescott might not be the QB right this second because he hasn't performed well. Then other people are saying it ain't him, it's the Cowboys defense. So the conversation came up: Cowboys defense or Dak Prescott? What you think is the problem?
That's a toss up. I mean, you wouldn't be wrong which one you pick, because here's the thing: they can put points up. It's not like Dallas is like a Pittsburgh right now, who struggles. 1 week they got 10 points, 1 week they put up 20 points. They can put the points up. So that means your offense is doing something. The problem is the same thing with basketball. Like if you put up 20 and you allow 20, you're back to 0-0. Like you can negate your 20 because you allowed 20. So you gotta point with the defense because you're allowing these points to happen. But I would ultimately, if I had to choose, pick the defense over Dak for the simple fact that when it's happening, it's not happening early, it's happening late. So when these things happen later in the game, that component, which is letting things happen, like in the last game, late in the game, is the defense. Because I done put up 3 quarters worth of scoring and we had the lead. But if they come back late in the game and put up another touchdown or 2 or 3 field goals or whatever to take the lead and squeeze a win out, then I would have to go with the defense.
Right. Okay. I'll give you that one too. So, Fig, this morning I also saw a conversation about the Buffalo Bills. I also saw a conversation about talking about Josh Allen and being that the Bills lost 2 games in a row. There also conversation came out and said, listen, you guys might not be paying attention to this, but the Browns are playing Buffalo in 4 feet of snow, and there's talk right now of the game being moved because there's going to be so much snow. Do you
Yeah.
think that'll affect the Bills if the game's being moved? Because the Bills expect to play in Buffalo, or are you saying it doesn't matter where they play? What's your thoughts?
It better not matter where they play because listen, ain't nobody going to get an advantage. You know what I mean? That's the only thing. You don't have your home field advantage. You don't have your you don't have your fans cheering for you, which a lot of people call, the
Right.
extra man on the field, or sometimes in basketball, the sixth man. But it better not matter because at the end of the day, you got to win this. You know what I mean? I think Cleveland makes their bones ground and pound. You know what I mean? They have a excellent run game. And I think that's what determines how you win. It's like going back to what Talent said, is that if one team is scoring through passing and you're not on the field for a long period of time, even though you're scoring, it makes a big difference. If you run the ball and you run it like 12, 13, 14 plays, your defense gets tired. So by the fourth quarter, if you have a real hard running game, you wear their defense out, and in the fourth quarter, they have nothing left. And that's why a lot of teams lose, because their defense doesn't have anything left and they can't stop the other team.
Yeah. That has a lot.
Time of possession counts.
It has a lot to do with it. T, here's another thing, and this is a pretty interesting look at things too. If the Bills lose, right, the Bills will fall to the third wild card seed position if they lose the game. So they're pressed to win the game. You know what I mean? Because right now, what people didn't expect is the AFC. Let's say the Jets and Dolphins and the Patriots win. The AFC East usually has more. They are the only conference in the entire football. They are the only the entire football league that have everybody over 500 and winning. So if the Bills lose, they fall all the way down to the third position in the wild card. So they're really pressed to win. Really, really pressed to win. And then not to mention, let's not forget this either. If they lose, that'll be their third loss in a row. So when you hear all that and you hear that the Bills are playing the Browns, what's your thought? What's the first immediate thought that runs to your head? Because to me, first thing I think of is there's no way in hell the Bills are losing this game. I just don't see it.
Well, the first thing that runs through my mind, Frank, is New England's going to lose Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because you're a Jets fan. Yeah, you would say that.
and with that, no, it's all the same thing. We talking about this division.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: with the New England loss, there's only one team in first place. Right now, it's tied, but there will be one team sits alone in first place. And I'm not talking about. I'm not taking a biased opinion, but they wear green.
No, that'd be the Dolphins.
No, that the Jets will be in first place. Guaranteed. And here's the bigger thing. Even though Buffalo drops down two slots, because when you look at the end division, we just beat them. The green team will be at the top. That specific green New York team. But I'm gonna tell you what to look out for. This will be a home game for Buffalo. They won't move the game. The projection is down from, they're not expecting 4 feet. More importantly, it's going to start today, and it will be done by Sunday. So it's going to be something out there, but you're not going to have 4 feet to worry about. And you know how they do with the field. They're able to cover the part of the field now that they know it's coming in advance, and all that stuff's going to be like pushed to the side. Streets, fans, they got a different problem. But us at home watching it on TV, look for Buffalo to be playing at home. Look for them to win this game. And I don't even think anybody's expecting it to be close. On paper, it's a 10-point spread.
It's a 10-point spread? I didn't even know the spread was that high. Okay. All right, so speaking of New York teams, we got to talk about the Giants, too, because the Giants, believe it or not, the Giants right now are not even in the wild card. The Giants are if the playoffs are supposed to end right now, the Giants are in the playoffs. You know what I mean? And Green Bay's looking out, which is really weird looking at it when it's not something you'd expect. So, Fig, let me throw this to you. Let me ask you this before I come to Talent with this question. Are you expecting the Green Bay Packers to be out and the Giants in, or because the Giants win again and Giants win and Green Bay loses this Sunday, it almost solidifies the Green Bay being out the playoffs. That's how it's looking like right now.
It looks like that's what's about to happen, Frank, because let me tell you something, man. I said it earlier today, man, that the Green Bay, even if they win Sunday, they have a gauntlet
Right.
of teams to go through that are way better than Green Bay right now. And guess what? I expect the Giants to beat the dog snot out of the Lions.
Not the dog snot.
Yeah, they got to beat the dog snot out of the Lions.
Hey, Frank, when you said that, my dog's like
word.
But T, the question is the Giants overlooking the Lions? Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes these people start to get, they get ahead of themselves. They start overlooking teams. The Giants playing so good. The Lions are playing so. But the Lions have been playing. They've been in every single game that they played except for one. You know what I mean? They're playing really good.
But the Giants are home, so I expect them to overlook them because I'm not the biggest Giant fan. Of course, I love New York and I'll support all the teams. But the one thing I will give the Giants credit on is they're like superheroes at home.
Mm-hmm.
They are like they play totally different. Anybody could beat them on the road, but in New York, in the Meadowlands, I really can't see them losing to the Lions. The Lions are so iffy and so 50-50 these days. They're a decent team, but they're still 50-50. And you're coming into New York. I'm not gonna even lie, Frank. I'll put my money on the Giants this week.
Okay, you got your money on the Giants. Speaking of money on the teams, man, Taylor Heineke's been balling out, man. He's been playing really, really good ball. Taylor Heineke right now might be the clear-cut lock for the Washington Commanders, and Carson Wentz might be out. But they're playing the Texans this week. Do you think, Fig, that Taylor Heineke should keep the job for the rest of the season and they should forget about Carson Wentz? What's your take?
Man, that's a tough one, man, because it's like a pancake. Either way you flip it, it's still the same thing. I'm just like,
I don't know about that one, Fig. I don't know about that.
He's
playing really good ball.
Yeah, he's playing really good ball now. But I just, it goes back to the same thing. What is the play calling? When we were talking about Dallas, because the plays that you call during the game really matter, and the plays that you would call for Carson Wentz and the plays that you call for Heineke is completely different, and that makes the difference in the game a lot of times. You got Heineke in there. You may want to run the ball 30 times, excuse me, and pass 20 times. But then you put Carson Wentz in there, you may want to flip it. You may want to pass 30 times and run 20 times. That makes the difference in the game, and it also makes a difference in winning and losing. The sport is not rocket science. You play stellar defense, you run the ball, and you try and win the battle of who has the ball the most time of the game. Time of possession really matters and really can determine the outcome of a game. So I don't know whether it's the quarterback or I don't know whether it's the play calling.
Okay. I guess I'm throwing to you, T. Should Carson Wentz be benched for the rest of the season right now? Because Taylor Heineke is playing really good ball right now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely should be benched. But don't switch up. This guy, you got a rhythm going. Do not switch up. Switching up is a setback right now. Mm-hmm. I know we get caught up in, he's the starter, blah, blah, blah. But things happen sometimes for a reason. And you got to read the writing on the wall. If the guy's going good, you don't mess up the little bit of flow you got. I mean, am I the only one here right now got a taste for a good Heineken? Well, man, Heineken is doing his thing, man. Any good coach can see that and leave him alone and wait till you need to go back to Wentz. You don't have to put people in right away. Like, you ride the wave. That's sports, period. If you get something going, you ride the wave. Frank, you're in the number one in the sports in the history of sports. You're in that number one market that's seen that better than anybody.
Yeah, I have. There's no doubt.
Do you go back to Drew Bledsoe? Hell no.
Yeah. I mean, of course, when it was happening, everybody wanted Drew Bledsoe back until the end of the year. But
of course, right.
Yeah. All right. So, Fig, here's speaking of another QBs. The New Orleans Saints decided they're going to stick with Andy Dalton after they were sitting there trying to figure out should they change or not. And some people in New Orleans are upset, but they're playing right now. They're playing the Rams this Sunday, and Matthew Stafford right now is cleared concussion protocol. He's playing too. So you got Andy Dalton versus Matthew Stafford. You got the Saints versus the Rams. What's your thoughts on this game?
The Saints have been doing horrible. What's the hoopla about? I mean, they not in the playoffs. Like, who cares? like, you know what, man? Is Jameis Winston available? That's all I need to know. Is he available to play?
He is. But they sticking with Andy Dalton. That's what they're saying.
You know what? You tell me that Andy Dalton with a losing streak is better than Jameis Winston, who the last time we seen him was doing well. And I can't make any kind of sense out of this decision. I can see if they were winning games. They're not winning. Mm-hmm. So what are you holding on to the quarterback for? Oh, man, I'm telling you, we losing, but he sure does look good. How? That makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I agree with that one. I can't even. All right, T, you get the last question in football. You get the Saints versus the Rams. You get Dalton versus Wentz. No, Dalton versus Wentz. I lost my place. But you got the Saints versus the Rams. What's your take?
Matthew Stafford.
I think that the Saints are going to win this game. As bad as Fig makes them out to be, is so banged up and so missing pieces and parts. And the Rams, Fig, to be honest with you, the Rams ain't looking great. So this is a battle of the bums, and I'm going to give it to the Saints because I believe the Saints are home.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
they are. Saints are home. All right, let's move on to basketball topic. I couldn't wait to talk about, man, because last night I watched the Golden State game versus Phoenix. I watched that game, and I came away with a simple fact, man. If I'm a Golden State Warriors fan, Fig, I think I'm panicking. And then a lot of people said the same thing this morning. Is there panic in Golden State? Because Steph Curry scored another two-piece. He gave him 50 points. They not playing no defense at all. And now they lost their 8th game on the road. They haven't won on the road this whole season right now. Golden State has not. Yeah. So Steve Kerr said, "I failed." Basically, that was his quote. And it's the first game the Golden State lost in double digits when Curry has scored that high. Golden State's 0-8 on the road. Is there panic in Golden State, Fig?
I wouldn't call it panic because it's still very young in the season. You know, we're not even 20 games in, but there needs to be some changes. The thing is that there's a gap, and Steve Kerr is finding it hard to fill the gap. The gap is you have the stars that are aging but still stellar, and then you got these young guys who are trying to catch up and bridge the gap, and the two are not meshing.
Actually, and that's what let me just say this. I want to interrupt. I'm sorry, interrupting. Let me just say this. Klay Thompson has not been performing well at all, also during this stretch too. Sorry,
right.
Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
So what it is that the young guys are not catching up with the older guys, and there's a gap between there. And Steve Kerr, when he says he's failing, he's trying to find a formula where you're marrying the young guys and the veterans together to get a cohesive starting five and a bench. Look, they had to take Kuminga and send him down to the G League. They said Jordan Poole is not playing up to par. You just said that Klay Thompson hasn't reached his full ability yet. He hasn't gotten back to the old Klay Thompson, which he probably never will. But the thing is that Golden State, when they was winning, they had these young guys who was on fire, and then their bench was a bunch of really good veterans, like the Andre Iguodala's, the Spates. You know what I mean? They had a bunch of dudes who came off the bench, Leandro Barbosa. These guys were really good ball players, and they knew how to play within the system. The young guys are just not catching on, and Steve Kerr doesn't seem like a teaching coach. Like he doesn't seem like he's able to teach these young guys how to catch up and fill that gap. They may have to make some trades. That's the good thing about it is they have a lot of young players and they have a lot of picks.
Okay, let me T. Here's the question. Here's the question for you. Should there be panic in Golden State because Klay Thompson's not? He's usually shooting 35 to 40% from three. He's not. He's shooting 28% from three. Golden State also in the offseason got rid of 2 or 3 great players who were on their bench. They're not there. They're not playing the defense that they normally play and everything else. And people still think that they might get the ship right. I'm gonna say this right now. I'm a firm believer. I don't think they're going to be able to get it right because this team is not the same as last year. You know what I mean? They have some key components who aren't there, and like what Fig said, their younger players aren't playing up to par like they should. Like, let's not forget, James Wiseman got shipped down to the G League right now. So, is there and should there be proper panic in Golden State right now, even though it's only 15 games in for them?
Absolutely. And I'm gonna tell you what the real deal is that we're no longer talking about. I think that Draymond fight has a long-lasting effect.
I agree.
And that's part of it. And until they do something before the trade deadline, i.e., Draymond being gone or something like that, you're not going to see much of a change because of the fact you just mentioned. Clay is not back yet. Now, here's the thing: you don't need 100% Clay. You just need a decent, consistent Clay.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he's not even that yet. So you take your big three. You got Steph, Draymond, and Clay. One coming off an injury, ain't back yet. Far from 100%. You can't even get 80. Can't even get 75, 80 consistently from him. Draymond, big fight that to me, on the low, is still lingering around there. I don't care what nobody say. We ain't talking about it, but don't mean it didn't have lasting effects. Fights usually do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Think about that. Fights usually have long-lasting effects. You ever fight when your siblings or relative and your mother or auntie make up, but you still fester in the feud in you. You said sorry and all that because your parents made you, but you ain't happy yet.
Right.
So I think that's really still going on over there, and they can't get the cohesiveness back together. Like you said, they let certain players go that are now deeming more credible than you knew. And here's the last factor, and I always say this, and it happens. People that are not great coaches cannot adjust. You fall into a line of a great lineup, but you're not a great coach. You look great for a while because the lineup banging. And then adversity comes. Now where you at? You ain't Popovich now, are you?
Well, I got to say this. I got to say one thing to you, T, that I 100% agree. When you get two men, especially black men, and they get into a fight and they get embarrassed like that because it was filmed. Like Fig always says, they've been fighting in the NBA because he's absolutely right. They have been fighting in the NBA for decades. It's always never happened, but it's never been filmed. You know what I mean? I think that has some lingering effect. So let me ask you this, Fig. I'll throw it to you, Fig.
I was going to go ahead. I was going to say something, a rebuttal,
right.
but
you get the floor in a second. I'm gonna give you the floor in a second. Say everything you got to say. Let me throw this question out there to you also, so you can say your point you want to say. Since the Golden State Warriors are having this problem, and the Brooklyn Nets are having this problem, but we're going to talk about in a second, should Golden State trade for Kevin Durant right now? Because obviously that might be solve some of their problems. What do you think?
Absolutely. But here's the thing. Kevin Durant would bridge a lot of the gap on the offense. But where the Golden State Warriors are having their biggest problem is on the defense. And he's not going to solve that. So they're going to have to move some young players, and they're going to have to get some mid-level or some veteran players in there that can play defense also. That's the key with the Golden State Warriors. Are we having a problem scoring? No. The Golden State Warriors are not having a problem scoring. They're having a problem stopping other teams. And that's where the gap is. And look, human nature is human nature. Maybe there is some mental thing festering from the fight, but guess what? Golden State is packed to win now, not years from now. So if I needed to pick somebody and I needed to fix something and I need to get rid of one of the two players, as good as Jordan Poole is, I would get rid of Jordan Poole and keep Draymond Green, because Draymond Green.
What? Really?
I'm going to tell you why. Because Jordan Poole hasn't played up to par offensively. He's not a great defender either. What Golden State Warriors are missing is somebody to go along with Draymond and help him on the defensive end. The one thing that they don't need is offense. What they really need is defense.
But you're
and
trading
that's
away,
what the
but you're saying right now you would trade away the future for the past. That's what you're saying right now.
Because, and I'll tell you why. Because by the time the future comes to fruition, you're not going to have Clay, you're not going to have Steph, and you're not going to have Draymond.
Okay.
Those three guys with some veterans like a Kevin Durant and another, and maybe one or two other veterans can win now, this year. Jordan Poole might not be ready to win until next year or the year after.
Fig,
So the question is, do you win? Are you ready to win now, or you ready to forego now so you could possibly win down the line? And that's a maybe.
Fig, I love you, but bro, that's one take I don't agree with, bro. I can't agree with that one because Jordan Poole might not be ready. Talent. Jordan Poole's shown to me that he's able to win. He scored some huge buckets in the whole playoff run last year, the whole season last year. He's doing some good stuff this season. I think he's ready to win now. I personally don't agree with Fig's take. Do you agree that Golden State Warriors should trade for Kevin Durant now? And do you agree what he said just now with the take about Draymond and Jordan Poole? Where you at?
Fig crazy.
Oh, okay.
Frank, when Talent finished, I want to ask you a question about Boston.
Here's the thing. And Fig is absolutely right. It's a decision of, do I want to win now or am I preparing for the future? I don't think any team is willing to sacrifice right now for the future, because the future is how you sustain. You know, right now it's just exactly that, just right now. And because they're coming off of a win, they could miss a chip. You know what I'm saying? I just had one, so I could miss a chip, you know, because on average, if you can get a chip every 4 to 6 seasons, you're doing pretty good in the league to me. But here's the thing, and Fig loves Draymond, but and I like Draymond. I've always liked Draymond, big fan. But it's time to go. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. If you are indeed the catalyst, like I said, if that's indeed the problem, it's a no-brainer to deal him and get him out of there ASAP sooner than later. And bank on your future, man. Because you have one thing about Steph Curry. Here's the good thing about great smaller players. They can be around longer. Great big players are around shorter. They have a shorter impact on the game time-wise than the little guys because of the body. You know what I mean? So the physique of a Steph Curry can be there well after he's scoring 50 points, schooling and training and molding the next guys like Jordan Poole.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
Frank, I ask you this. You think Jordan Poole is great, right?
I didn't say I give you.
I give you three. No, because you think he's the future.
I think he's the future. Three players.
Right. I didn't give you 3 players.
Mm-hmm.
3 players on your team. Not even the superstars. Al Horford, Marcus Smart, or Williams. Which one are you giving up for Jordan Poole?
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Exactly. You know why? You know who I named? You know who I named? I named your best defenders on your squad. That's how you win championships.
Frank,
that's how you win championships. It's not Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole can shoot. It's pretty. It's flashy. No. I say it almost every week. Offense fills the stands, but defense wins championships. You're not going to win a championship with Jordan Poole is your best player on the team.
Hey, T.
It's not happening.
Yo, Frank was dumb funny. Yeah, that's what I do. What I'm saying.
I know. I know you don't want to give up none of his defenders. Like none of the guys I name are big time offensive scorers. None of them.
Fig, that makes absolutely no sense.
I know, because they play defense.
No, because they're not on the same team. It's one thing.
I said, which one would you? I said, would you trade them?
Would
you trade either one of those players for Jordan Poole?
That doesn't make sense either. It's not on the same thing either. That's
Frank,
why I'm
you know what? The only point I'm trying to make is
I get you,
Marcus Smart plays stellar defense. Al Horford plays stellar defense. Williams is a defensive stopper.
So you're asking me, would I trade?
None of your players score like Jordan Poole. None of them.
Well, I'm trying to get an understanding. We'll come back to this off air or something like that because I want to keep it. Oh, Mike Sean's joined the show too. Mike, what's going on, Mike? You came in at the tail end. How you doing, Mike?
What's good? What's good, fellas? What's going on?
Michael.
on? What up?
So I lost my place. Oh, okay. I'm gonna start with you. Let's start a whole new round. T, you go up first. I'm gonna do a new round with you. Kevin Durant came out and he's speaking against his teammates and everything else. He said a couple of things against his teammates. He said that it wasn't difficult at all to request a trade because it's all about ball. And he said, I went to them, I went to the Nets, and I was like, yo, I like how we're preparing. I don't like shoot-arounds. I like practices. I need more practices. I want to work more. Hold me accountable. He just was going on and on. And then he put his teammates out there saying some stuff. We all saw the quotes and everything else. My question to you, T, is, was Kevin Durant right or wrong for saying the statements that he said and putting his teammates out there on blast and saying reasons why he requested a trade? Or do you think he should have just remained quiet and not say anything? What's your take on this?
Well, no, I thought he was right. I think it's funny. I had a dream about this, believe it or not. And in my dream,
I had a dream.
I dreamed that he went to the front office first in my dream, and he said, "Yo, look, I'm about to do something and say something, and I'm letting y'all know ahead of time because people are going to talk about it. It's going to cause a little controversy because it's coming from me. But I think it's a little bit of reverse psychology to get these guys to play better as a team. And what makes me believe that is the part in there where he says that, and I've witnessed this, not just with NBA teams, but teams in general. When you have a superstar player or an elite player, the rest of the team dials it back, just assuming that because we have this guy, we're supposed to win. I think we see that in the Lakers as of the last 2 seasons. I think we've kind of seen that in different teams with those elite players. Like you've seen spots of it with Milwaukee at times because they got Greek Freak. People kind of dial it back like, oh, we got this. Instead of playing your game and being a unit and giving your part, because like Fig said, collectively is how we're going to win this thing. Not just because I'm Kevin Durant, not just because he's LeBron James. And when he put that part out there, I think that was the little piece to get inside your head. If you're one of the Nets players, that's like, oh, it's like going to church. You know how you go to church and he's talking in general, but you think it's you?
Right.
You be like, yo, he's talking right to me. He's not talking right to you. You're guilty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that's the case. I think that's the case with the Nets. I think he's putting it out there so that the people who may be doing that or guilty of that be like, oh, damn, he talking about me. And reverse psychology kicks in, and it works and makes them better, play harder.
Maybe that's my one way of looking at it. Fig, what's your take on Kevin Durant speaking out against his teammates?
I'm not sure whether it was the teammates or whether he was talking about what the coaching staff has him to do. I saw some of the stuff that they was talking about this morning, Frank. Also, what I think Kevin Durant was talking about, he was like, look, all we do when we go to practice is like shoot around. You know what I mean? There's no defensive strategy. And he was talking about he wanted them to practice on close out to the 3-point line where guys are shooting, and knocking down 3-point shots. He said there's no defensive strategy on the Brooklyn Nets. Now, it's kind of funny. Kevin Durant, you left a stellar organization where they focused on defense so you could go team up with Kyrie and play somewhere else so you could get your own thing. Now you realizing how important coaching and the organization actually is to winning a championship. And if you really want to win, then you're going to have to find an organization that is run that way. And we just talked about it, Frank. He would be in a better position if he went back to Golden State because they focus on defense. And that's what Steve Kerr just said this morning. He was like, look, we don't have a problem with offense. We're having a problem on defense and bringing these young guys along. And he said, and that's my fault.
Yeah, he did.
Now nobody has to ask Steph Curry and none of the players on the Golden State Warriors any question because Steve Kerr took all the responsibility on his shoulders and said, this is my fault.
As it should have been. It's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Because it's his fault.
Mike Sean.
Absolutely.
Mike Sean. Kevin Durant spoke out against his teammates. He gave a quote on why he said what he said and everything else. I know you saw the quote. What's your take on this, Mike?
I'm the star of this team, and when a team does poorly, I get all the blame. So I get to speak out when I want to speak out. And I'm going to say what I want to say. I think he realizes the end is near. I think when he realizes Ben Simmons is getting paid $35 million to get 6.6 rebounds and 6 assists. And he knows all the role players they have good role players.
Mhm.
But he realizes right now the stars of the team are unreliable. Ben Simmons is a bench player right now. He doesn't know what he's going to get with Kyrie Irving. And he's frustrated. And now you're going to tell me we're going to do practice and all we're going to do is shoot arounds?
Mhm.
That's what we're going to do? What is this? Is this a 3-on-3 league or something? Like, this is a professional basketball team who has to figure out where they're going with this. And you're going to tell me during practice you're doing shoot arounds? What's the point of going to practice? Everybody could do that on their own. So,
Yep.
now Kevin Durant, like Fig said, brought this on himself. He left Golden State because his passive-aggressive ass, like I always said, didn't want to face up with Draymond Green, which he should have done. Because literally, if Kevin Durant would have went to the front office and said it's either me or Draymond would no longer be there. But he didn't. He decided to go run to Kyrie, just like he ran from OKC to Golden State. Like, at this point, look, he's one of the greatest players, one of the greatest scorers I've ever seen. I'm not going to take that away from him. In the right situation, he can win multiple championships again. But right now, he's just in nowhere. He's in no man's land right now in there in Brooklyn. It's a
he made
disaster.
a horrible decision.
Mike, they don't have a coach. I mean, are any of us surprised? You lose your coach and you make the interim the lunch monitor, and that's all he knows is sandwiches. He don't know how to organize it. That's what I would do. Like, if you throw me in there today, T, I know you ain't doing that. Come down here for a minute. Before we figure this out, coach the Nets. I'm going right in there like, yo, let's shoot around.
Frank,
Everybody grab the ball. Come on over here. You go down there. Kevin Durant, you got that side of the court by yourself. Everybody else come up.
But just the general manager alone, to take that chance on Ben Simmons was ridiculous. To take that chance on Ben Simmons was so dumb when there were other guys out there.
It's
Yeah.
Ben Simmons at his best.
It's
All
easy
I
to
say
say
is
that now.
this.
It's easy to say that now. Ben Simmons had turned.
Oh, no, it was easy to say that when he did it, because I did say it because I seen him with the Sixers. I saw what he did.
We all did.
We
Well,
all saw it.
listen, we all saw it.
There was a potential for him to play good. Also, You
True,
didn't know.
because that was prior to him having back surgery. So let me just say this, and then I real quick. I think what it is that the Nets put personality in front of business, or personal feelings in front of business. They should have got Ime Udoka, and they shouldn't have did what they did to Kyrie.
They should
His
have kept
personality-
Ime Udoka. They had Ime Udoka already. They should have kept him and upgraded him. He
Right,
was-
that's what I'm saying. It should have been Ime Udoka, or even get him back this time, because they let everybody else on the outside chime in and have an input on what they should be doing with their business. You keep
Right.
your business and personality on the outside.
They got what they deserve. They're the Raiders of the NBA. They got exactly
Absolutely.
what they deserve.
Absolutely.
Let's keep moving. LaMelo Ball got injured again last night. A minute and 30
Again?
seconds left to go in the game. LaMelo got injured last night, everything else. So people are down there in Charlotte obviously upset. And then on top of that, Charlotte lost to Indiana Pacers. And then Ball re-injured his left ankle when he stepped on a fan's foot with 1 minute and 34 seconds left to go in the game. What's your thoughts right now on this LaMelo Ball kid, T, right now, and getting injured again?
He said people in Charlotte are mad. You think they mad? There's a dude with the initials MJ that's pissed off. That Negro can't get a good season going. How are you the best player ever? Argumentatively, the best to ever do it on the court. And then, rightfully so, you say, you know what, let me invest and own a team. Let me run some stuff here. And he can't get out the dungeon. These things keep happening to him. This started, I don't know if you guys are familiar. This goes back to when he had Rod Strickland. You know, he was messing around with, I think, the Wizards, and bought out his contract. You know, Rod was nice. He was still, you know, in a good age range. And he just got in an argument in practice with Rod Strickland and said, pay him and get him out of here. Pay him out. Ever since then, I think it's the Rod Strickland curse. I think Jordan, as a team guy, just can't get these wins together and can't get a flow going. Every time it looked like he is, because it did look like it a couple of times, we had some spurts and spots where it was like, oh, let me find out Charlotte about the. And then this happens again.
Yep. Fig, what's your thoughts on LaMelo Ball getting injured again?
It's unfortunate, man. But the thing, I mean, I've heard players and I've heard commentators mention this before. That the NBA is the only game, the only sport where fans have that kind of access and they're that close to the actual team. If you mean to tell me a player can actually step on a fan's foot and get injured, and you telling me that the fans are not too close? I mean, college basketball is some of the most exciting basketball that you ever see in your life. The fans ain't on the floor. Y'all need to move these fans back. I mean, it's too close. Anytime you got a multi-million-dollar player that gets injured because he stepped on a fan's foot, the fans are a little bit too close to the action. They need to be moved back slightly. I'm not talking about ridiculously away from the court because you want that intimacy with the game, but they need to be moved back to the point where players can't get injured.
Or stepping on their feet. I agree.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
What's your take?
Man, I'm spending $10,000 on that ticket. I wish you would move my seat back. I wish you dare move my seat back.
What game do you get a front seat?
You go to a
10,
Laker game. Go to a Laker game and get a front row seat.
Let you get
Or
down
go to a
there
Knicks.
for a fish
I
sandwich.
wish you would move my
I
joint
wish
back.
you would move my joint 1/2 inch back.
Yo, Mike, right now the Lakers, you can get the front seat on the Lakers for a fish sandwich.
You got to be kidding me. Listen, I will say, you know how much I don't like Michael Jordan, but he's had some bad luck. From Kemba Walker to Terry Rozier,
Yeah.
to now to LaMelo Ball, and that's a
Yes.
freak injury. I
Yeah,
don't
it
know,
is.
man. I hope the kid gets back. He's a talented young man. He's a future face of the NBA if he could just get healthy. But listen, don't move my seat back. If you're gonna do anything, put it on the free throw line. Damn it, I need
Hey,
my
Mike.
seat.
Mike, I'm with you, Mike. For $10,000, I should be allowed to clip your ass.
I should be allowed to set a pick on your ass when you come.
Listen, $10,000 is a lot of money, but it don't override the multi-million-dollar players that are getting injured stepping on
Listen,
your
man.
foot.
Fig, you looking at it all wrong, bro. Let me tell you something. When I sat on the floor one game, and this is when we had Nate Robinson and Malik Rose,
Oh my dudes!
and I'm right there on the floor, and I stand up just to take my coat off, get situated. But all these dudes see me and recognize me, start coming off the layup line. Yo, what up, homie? What up? I'm like, yeah. It's what it's supposed to be like.
Yo, listen, you know what the real problem is? LaMelo Ball is signed to Nike for his shoe contract, and the fan that he stepped on his foot was wearing Adidas.
That's hilarious. Yeah, the Reebok pump clipped him.
Yes.
Dog, I want to be Tony Roberts and get in the layup line. Damn it.
That was the funniest thing ever.
All right, y'all. So even though the show's wrapping up, I know we all got some stuff going on this weekend. The NFL picks this weekend. So before we leave tonight, I know the Packers are playing the Titans. Anybody here got the Packers?
No.
Actually,
It's in Green Bay.
I think so. I'm gonna take the Packers.
Why?
All right. And I know you guys want to give a shout out to the Knicks, so I'll let you all give a shout out to the Knicks.
Hold up. Fix it. Why?
Why?
Like a concerned parent. I'm about to answer him like my dad. Cuz dad.
They were all doing it. They all do it.
They all do it.
Everybody's concerned. What's going on? Listen, shout out to my Knicks right now, B.
Yes, sir.
On the West Coast, 3 more games to go in this run. And the first 2, they are showing they behind. They are showing it, best ability. And they did this last season too. And then, second half of the season, they just follied out. But this looked like remnants of when they made the playoffs a season ago. So I like the way it's looking. I think we're going to close out. We might lose 1 of the 5 games on this road trip.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
So how's
That would
everybody
be
following,
great.
T?
Don't follow me.
Oh, okay.
This is the only show we say that.
What? But if the Packers win, follow.
Big.
Listen, man, I was ecstatic because I really thought the Knicks was going I thought they was going to take a bunch of L's on this West Coast trip, man. And I thought last night would be one of them.
It
The
ain't
next
over.
one is tomorrow against Golden State, man. It's just I don't care what position Golden State is in. That's still a tough team. And it'd be a Herculean effort for the Knicks to be able to beat them, even though they're not playing at their best. And I hope they do.
They're gonna beat Golden State tomorrow night, big.
But Golden State's at home.
Don't matter.
I said
That's the only place Golden State is losing is on the road.
I said they're gonna beat Golden State tomorrow night because the team's getting in disarray. They're gonna still beat them. I wouldn't even worry about that one. Fig, tell everybody how they can follow you.
At Comedian Fig, all social media platforms. I got some stuff coming up, man. We're gonna do the damn thing. Frank, don't forget me, December 4th. You need to talk about December 4th.
Mike Sean, talk to me about how they can follow you, bro.
Follow me at Mike Sean Comedy. And listen, I've been patient with the Knicks. I've been patient, but we're just okay. So now we've all been saying, don't do nothing crazy. Don't do nothing crazy. Okay. It's crazy time. Now it's time to take a leap of faith and grab me a superstar.
No.
Grab me a superstar. Now, I'm not saying during this season. I'm saying play the season out. But the off season next year, I need y'all to crack the bank open and roll the dice on somebody. This season is this season. I'm rooting for them. I want them to make the playoffs, and that'll be a successful season if they can make the playoffs and mess around and just win one series. That would be a championship.
Oh, that'd be sexy.
Yeah, at Mike Sean Comedy. That's it. Follow me and listen to me in the morning time. Media Room 360 on Facebook and all social media, YouTube, or download the app and do yourself that favor.
Well, I'm going to shout out my Boston Celtics, the best team in the league, best three-point shooting team in the league, fourth best defensive team in the league right now. They were 12 2 games ago. The Celtics are on a tear, so I want to shout out to my boys.
Hey, Frank, I hate to say this, but I think Jason Tatum will be in the MVP competition. He will be in the MVP voting this year.
And some of the Celtics are going to show up on our comedy night, December 4th, Brown Sugar Sundays, man. It looks like Jaylen Brown and JT might come through. You know, they reached out, so it looks like they might.
What day of the week is that?
It's on a Sunday.
It's on a Sunday?
Sunday
at Live Boston in Boston. My man Talent's hosting. Smokey Suarez is the headliner. Some of the Celtics going to come through. I can't wait to see all that and everything else. Anyway, y'all are watching, of course, the show called Box Seats, where we talk about sports with comedians. Rodney Perry should be back tomorrow. Notice how Dave, the business bully, ain't here after we roasted him yesterday. No, y'all notice the consistency here with this. Y'all see what happened?
Inconsistency.
Like
you gotta face the fire, yo. Whenever it happens, you gotta face the fire.
But you gotta realize, David. So you know who runs from stuff like that? The loud ones. It's one thing to be wrong, but when you're loud and wrong.
Oh yeah.
All right. Somebody put out an APB for the business bully. We're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to do that. Y'all are watching this show. It's called Box Seats. Come on in at 7 and 11 tonight on the app called The Humor Mill. Y'all do me a favor and share this on your pages if you can. If you can't, I understand. Share the show on your pages. That'd be dope. And of course, we'll be back. Oh, I'm not gonna be here tomorrow. So official, I'm traveling tomorrow. I'm going to Denver tomorrow with the wife.
Denver.
Going to Denver.
Oh, you gonna smoke? Are you gonna
Harvard
smoke?
is doing something in Denver tomorrow, so I have to go to Harvard.
So who's hosting?
Y'all can figure it out. Y'all can host if you want. Like T can host, or you guys can figure it out. Other than that,
I think Big did it before, and Rodney did it before. I know Mike.
No, Rodney did. Hey, Talent. I think Frank bet more than the Pepsi, and now he has to go to Denver.
Not at all. Not in the least. But
hey, Frank, let me find out you out there auditioning for female masseuses.
Let
me find out you got a side job working for what?
Damn it, you going to Denver? You both.
You wouldn't get that at all. I'm loaded.
And I'm not a snitch, Frank. You need an assistant?
You auditioning the masseuses out there?
I already got my equipment.
You got the lotion. Yeah, we'll be back Monday. Y'all have a good, safe weekend, safe, prosperous weekend. In case the guys can't put it together, y'all. This show's called Box Seats, man. Enjoy this show. We'll love it and everything else. We'll see y'all Monday. Share it. We'll talk to y'all again. Take care. Be safe.